They'll let us know.
Oh, they can.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's gay.
We're going to get age restricted now.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Oh, one of your shorts got age restricted.
I hope we get gender restricted to only 2 genders too, you know?
Yeah. Well, actually, there's 3. There's masculine, feminine, and neutral. There's 2 sexes, though. And I am Paul Markel, and joining me on the other side of the screen is Lewis. Lewis raised his hand. Sonny, who's got a knife in his hand, and Josh. So, hello. And I am a guest on the Student of Violence podcast, and they're a guest on the Student of the Gun. It's just so many students. I don't know what to do.
Right. Never enough, though.
All right. So, who wants to tell everyone what the topic is so we can all be excited about it?
So after reading some of the stuff in Sonny's book, we were talking about the training red pill versus blue pill. So that got me thinking. So the topic for the discussion today is practicality or practice score. You get to choose. And the way that Sonny put it in his book was, if you're the type that chooses the blue pill, you're setting aside the journey to towards growth in exchange for some boxed in thoughts that people have kind of put forth towards you, and you can choose to live in that illusion of what you think is practical, or you can take the red pill and do it for real.
Indeed.
And I think that dovetails in well with you and I were talking about covering maybe the use of cover with recent events in the news and things of that nature. So we might be able to tie those things together, because I think use of cover is something that in practical shooting is practically useless. So
for all intents and purposes, yeah, it is. So did catch me up? Did you guys already have a group discussion about the buffoonery and the clown show that went down in Montreal a week and a half ago, right before 4th of July?
I didn't even see the whole thing, man. I was traveling when it was happening, and it's just so much of that stuff that's, came and went, events of that nature. And, whoever is commenting, they're trying to pull off and use it from their vantage point, as I was always saying, this and that. It just gets so tiring that at the end, I'm like, you know what? Silence feels so fucking good, man.
I don't care. Well, I referred to it as like the worst mass shooter in history. Like the dude killed the bad guy. Well, but one of the bad guys. The bad guy. And did you see him trying to top load the rifle? Did you watch the video when he was over there kneeling down?
He was trying to the actual shooter.
Yeah, I watched the cell phone videos from the adjacent tower and stuff. And so when he got shot, he was kneeling down and he wasn't using cover properly, so he died. But he was trying to top load, and I feel very certain, and I could see the folded bayonet, so it was an SKS. Nice. Sonny, SKSs used to be or were very prevalent in Canada, were they not? Because they didn't have pistol grips and they didn't have removable magazines, and so they fell under the "it's okay" up until just recently.
I guess back in the day they probably did, but right now in Canada, anything that starts with G is pretty much
but But there, to be sure, there are lots of SKSs that came into the country, prior to the crew. Yeah. So, but you could tell, you could see the underfolded bayonet, and then when he stopped, he was trying to top load a stripper clip, right? And that's probably one of the reasons why it is. Well, you had a communist anarchist who was the shooter. You had a DEI Muslim hire cop that died. You had a female cop who killed an innocent bystander, all
Who
out.
happened to be a Jewish rabbi, right?
Who was a Jewish rabbi who was standing outside the offices for the holding company that operates Pornhub. Because people were like, "Oh, it was outside the Pornhub." No, it was for the holding
Wasn't that
company.
the building in Montreal where they had like a head office for Pornhub and all those companies?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
What I heard.
company, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
the holding
cool.
company that owns Pornhub. So you had all of those things, and it was not an AK,
Yeah.
right? It didn't have a pistol grip. It didn't have a removable magazine. So what is left for the media to discuss?
I guess we just can talk about soft dick slapping. You know what I mean? I mean, that's all that's left.
I
I mean,
guess.
God rest their souls of those who, perished and all that. But you kind of go like, man, as I said, I haven't even watched the video or whatnot because I'm like, with the very, very few exceptions of publicly, events that became publicly well known, in particular the shooting in Dallas. Most of the so-called mass shooters were certainly not skilled people, certainly without any consequential training. I mean, some of them could pull a trigger and some of them could probably change the magazine if they got good rest and good night's sleep and all that. But most of them were pretty much, I bought a gun last week and I'm angry about something and here I go. The event in Dallas was different because that guy was,
He had training.
he pressed the fight and the outcome of that, it kind of speaks for itself because SWAT team was there, have him cornered. They didn't go in. They sent in a robot to take him out.
They blew him up.
So,
but the reason I bring the Canada thing up is because we've been talking, mostly Lewis and I, on sidebars about this use of cover and how we used to just accept that there were certain principles that we taught about use of cover. Like when I was in the infantry, when I went through the police academy, things like don't crowd your cover, don't lean against your cover, and all cover is temporary. Right? Cover gives you the opportunity to do something. You don't just go and hide behind cover hoping that, I'm touching cover, I'm safe. It's like playing tag or something. It's like, I'm safe. I'm on cover. I'm safe. You can't shoot me now. And what the bad guy did after she smoked the rabbi, he did exactly. There was 2 cell phone videos, and if you watch them, he was on the far side of one of the planters, and she was on the other side of those big concrete street planters, and she was trying to become one with the cover. She had the whole laying against it and all that stuff. And so after she smoked the rabbi, the guy got up and he moved around and he started cutting the angle on her because that's what you do, because all cover is temporary. And when you're laying up against it, and that was I'm not going to bring their names up, but there's a mind guard. Should we just start calling influencers mind guards now?
Sure.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a mind guard who did a video recently and who said that it doesn't matter if you lay over the top of the hood or you extend yourself around cover, because the stability you get allows you to put rounds down range way faster. And so it's okay to go ahead and disregard that, old tactical, I know there's guys out there that say don't crowd your cover and stay back behind cover, but let me tell you what, dude, I'm gonna lay across that hood and I'm gonna be putting hot rocks down range. Yeah, so I'm still not sure how putting hot rocks down range stops incoming hot rocks, and what happened to the idea.
It's a wall of lead. I don't know what part of wall you don't understand.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Paul, you're forgetting another very important factor. I mean, the guy's seeing red. So
Probably
you
even
put together Wall of Lead and Seeing Red, and it's pretty much impenetrable defense.
yeah, and like a 7-hit factor,
Yeah.
whatever that is.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
these are bad bumper stickers. Like outgoing fire is my cover. This is just a bad bumper sticker where you know you could get a gun out of a glove box if you needed one.
So the chick smoking the rabbi was the perfect example of what happens when you don't understand how to use cover. You lay up against it. She's hard right focused because she's laying up against it. You know how they do. They get up there. They have no situational awareness except for that tiny little, 15-degree view that they've got there. And so Rabbi Steinberg or whatever comes walking up from her left, and all of a sudden she senses movement to the left, and she whips around, and you got to give her build drill was spot on there. There was zero
one shot, one kill, basically.
Yeah, she was like, she just
Damn.
turned and she's like, there's something that's not me, I'm gonna kill it, and she just boom shot him. And then
as long as she did it in 0.6 seconds, it doesn't matter if it was
what do they call it? First shot on target or whatever, whatever. FST or
Draw the first shot.
That's my purse. I
Yeah,
don't know.
and when I first saw it, I thought that was the bad guy. So I was kind of given kudos. I'm like, well, she wasn't set up right, but she did somehow perceived him coming around it, and she got him.
Yeah.
But I didn't understand at that time that we'll call an innocent bystander.
An innocent bystander with no gun or anything in his hands, right? He probably was yelling, hey, help, or where should I go, or something. And she heard some noise, and she turned, and she's like, pow.
There.
Yeah. And then she realizes, then things started ticking, the little wheels started clicking into place, and she looked down, and she's like, that guy's not holding a gun or anything. And yeah, I should probably move and get away from the mistake I just made and hope nobody saw that. And of course, so homeboy pies the corner, and he comes around to where she was just at and runs out of ammo. And instead of retreating back behind cover to reload, he just takes a knee. And other cops who are off camera proceed to hammer him, and he finally goes down. But the question we have to ask is, if she would have actually been properly taught, I know that's a big if, and would have stayed back away from cover like we tell people, and that way she would have maintained a wider peripheral vision. She would have had better awareness of her situation. Maybe she would have seen that guy coming and seen that he was like furtively waving his empty hands and not killed him.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah, you get tons more reaction time, like in teaching a fighting pistol or fighting rifle class. When we do a cover and concealment block of instruction, sometimes I'll have a student walk up. So we've got two barrels on top of each other, simulating a column of some sort, piece of cover. And I'll have them walk up to it till their hat brim is touching the barrel. And I'll be on the other side of the barrel by, 5-7 yards, and tell them, let me know when you can see any part of me. And then I'll walk at a certain angle around that barrel. And by the time they can see me, I'm, no further than Josh and I are right now.
Right. You're about to touch them.
Yeah. And so totally within arm's reach. And I'm like, okay, well, like, how does that make you feel? And they generally say not good, especially when they're kind of trying to peek around the other side, like this way, and I come around this way. They're like, not good. I'm like, go ahead, just take 2 healthy steps back. and I'm going to start at the same spot and walk that same angle. Let me know when you see something. And every single time they're able to now see pieces of me that are exposed before I can see any of them. So
That's crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't take.
When did that start working? Is that
like
new? That's a new
fact.
thing.
I think actually it started working before the guns. I think archery, you know,
when we attach
it
string
has
to
been done
the
back in
tree
those
limbs.
days.
Well, and so here's a hypothesis I'm going to throw out there for cover. I haven't tested it to the extreme, but I think, or I want to say, that as far as I can tell, I want to be as far as possible from the cover while still keeping it between myself and the bad guy. So depending on elevation changes, and we don't live on a perfectly level place, there may become like a elevated threat situation to a certain piece of cover that you would have to mitigate. But as long as I am closer to it than the other guy, then it's my cover. And I want to be as far away as I can without being further than that other guy. So for instance, let's say we put this table out in the middle of the field and I'm trying to keep it between Josh and I. And we're running around the table doing the angry siblings thing.
Mm-hmm.
If I run a tight circle around the table, I stay within his arm's reach. If I can get 4 yards out this way, as long as he's 6-8 yards that way, he won't be able to get onto this side of it, which would then leave me totally without cover. Right. So as long as the cover is more than the halfway point between you and the bad guy, then you can use it effectively. And the closer you get to it, you're only limiting yourself in terms of how much of your vision it's taking up. Does that make any sense? Did I paint that?
Absolutely.
I got what you're saying.
Sonny, I've got a question for you. Have you noticed that the influencer mind guards have stopped using the term cover and instead substituted it for barricade? Do you believe that's a deliberate, like, mind game or word game that they're playing?
I don't know if it's deliberate. I think it's actually you know in which way it's deliberate. I think it's a gay way to create an excuse without it sounding like an excuse. You know what I mean? Because they don't have balls to say it like a straight man. You know what I mean? I'm using an excuse because we're playing our games, and to justify it, here's what we're gonna say. It's not cover, it's a barricade. But the reality is that like any word that we use and it starts losing its true meaning. Be it manhood, be it chivalry, be it love, be it cover. If the word itself and the way it's being implemented in reality, there is a fragmentation between the two. I'm sorry, but a fucking little orange net is not a cover.
Yeah.
I mean, for how long you're going to use it a cover where you're going to go like, well, people will detect that I'm lying, so I'm going to say barricade. Because in most people's mind, barricade is still a solid object, right?
Yeah.
But it's kind of like that law that's kind of like ambiguous. It can be interpreted one way or the other, like a hate speech. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. And I think barricade definitely does mean gun rest to some people, or shooting support for my non-firing hand. Like the VTAC barricade made all use of cover stick your muzzle through it.
Yeah, that's, if you would have said to me 20, 30 years ago, describe a barricade, I would have been like, well, it's a big pile of material that prevents the enemy,
or at least slows down someone getting over it, right?
yeah, it prevents the enemy from getting to where I am, right? I've
Yeah.
barricaded. And what we see in these mind guard, these influencers or whatever, they're like, oh, well, this is or they won't, it's kind of like a cancer doctor won't say the word cure. You have to put a gun to their head to get them to say the word cure. They won't say it. Like, I know, because I was there, and they're like, oh, good prognosis, and it's like, no, say the word cure, say it, and they're like, because they won't. So what we've got now is these people who have to justify their behavior won't say cover because
I really think it's a coward's way to create an excuse why they do shit that in reality very often may result in very negative outcomes, but it kind of leaves the wiggle room to go like, well, what I meant was, it gives that wiggle room because that word is very ambiguous. You know what I mean? It's well, no, you misunderstood. I didn't mean it like that. I meant it like that.
Yeah. And can I just go ahead and ask you a question? When you're holding a self-loading carbine, right? AR, AK, whatever. When do you think that long distance shooting actually starts? Like, when does it begin? Like, for instance, all right, because what I'm getting and what from the barricade shooters are like, well, we have to have them stabilize their carbines on the barricade so they can get good shots on their distant targets. And I'm looking and I was like, that cardboard looks like it's 42 yards away. I don't know, like, it's I know perception is a thing, but if you're telling me that your students cannot hit a cardboard silhouette with a self-loading carbine inside of 100 yards without mounting it onto some stable structure, that seems like a skill problem to me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just think things are, is that a thing? Is people can't hit cardboard silhouettes at 30 yards unless they stabilize
it's not that they can't hit, Paul. It's not that they can't hit, is they are being trained that in order to hit it better, here's what you do. For us, in basic training, I'm not talking specialized training. In my 2 months of basic training, the equivalent of what you guys here call basic training.
Yeah.
We were shooting standing, kneeling without support out to 200 meters with iron optics on our AKs. That was the thing before they go like, and now this is how you do supported shooting. But at that point, as soon as you went to supported shooting, the hit zone became very, very small, or targets now were moving, and not just moving perpendicular. At the same time, they were moving at 45-degree angles. So you have distance change and windage change. So, looking back on that, I go like, I don't know, 18, 19-year-old boys were fucking, picking up those damn scary AKs and were basically required in basic training somewhere in Siberia to hit standing at 200 with irons. Wow. I know AK is not supposed to hit at 200.
Yeah,
I have a question. But what were your splits, though? Because
I never heard the term split before I came to the United States.
Because I'm thinking,
I never heard drill.
If you guys would have taken like the brake off of a tank and stuck that on the front of your AK, and then held that up against the barricade and locked it in tight, you probably would have had better splits. Just saying.
True.
Most likely.
Sonny,
if Laddie Daddy wants to hire me to go train.
Right.
At Paris Island, we weren't allowed to go prone until we were back at 300. At 200 was considered close. That was sitting, kneeling, standing. And then when we got to 3, we were allowed to go prone for the rapid fire drill. And then they mercifully allowed us to shoot all our 500-yard stuff prone. Right. But what's really sad, and I'm sure you've seen it, I mean, we can look it up right now. This idea, this plague, this groupthink idiocy has bled over into the military. And now we have soldiers and airmen and whatever pictures of them on the range stabilizing their rifles on barricades, sticking their to shoot 50-yard silhouettes.
Well, I think it might have been you, Paul, who sent me a video. It was from a CQB class, a rifle CQB class.
Yeah, people were stabilizing it at like
and they were
20.
They were
20.
stabilizing the rifle on barricades or pieces of cover that were on the range to make shots. Yeah, at
15, 20.
15 to 50 yards.
No, I mean, look at fucking Cause Actual.
But where
he does it at fucking 20, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stabilizes with that grip on top of the rifle, and you know what I mean?
Dude, where in CQB, like as you're coming in this room, you're just gonna stick like 10 inches of barrel into that room?
Dude.
Out of like a ball sack dangling from my rifle on the door frame, stabilize my
dude. Just wait. What Josh said, that's coming. They're gonna be these influencer clowns. They're gonna be room clearing by first bracing in the door frame, right?
Oh, I think, Paul, you know, we can talk shit about it. We can be sad and depressed and angry and all that stuff, or we can cash in. And here's what I'm suggesting. We should invent a fucking bipod for a pistol, mountable bipod on the pistol. That's not just a bipod, extendable, telescopic, and all that stuff, but also it has some kind of hooks that can hook up to the wall on the door frame and shit like that to stabilize for 7-yard shots with the Glock 19. I think it would clean the fucking bank.
Dude, do you remember, have you ever been to like a Bianchi Cup shooting where they have the specialized pistols that have the jammers on them? You know what I'm talking about? The special design pistols that have the door jam thing on them, so they can literally jam it into the barricade and push. They've got this flapper paddle thing sticking out of the side of their gun, so they can lay it into the barricade, and they call it a barricade. They never call it cover. Never call it cover. But and we could say, we go back to let's live and let live. Who cares? The problem is, though, the opposition are exactly like Democrats. They're exactly like liberals. They're exactly like leftists. We want to be left alone. Like, we're going to do our thing, and this is what we do. And if you don't like it, don't come to our classes. That's fine, but we're going to do it and just leave us alone. The other side, okay,
they want to have a fucking pride parade.
The groupthink people, they can't leave. They're not going to say, well, you know, if Jay wants to train that way, just let him. Or if Sonny wants to train that way, just let him. Or, you know, going back when they were attacking James over what kind of T-shirts he wore and stuff like that, you know. It's the other side that can't just shut up and live and let live. And that is why we have to do what we're doing. That's why we have to speak up, because you know one of the problems with groupthink, what is the one of the symptoms of groupthink, I'm going to pull it right up here, is illusions of unanimity. Silence is wrongly interpreted as agreement. And dude, collective rationalization, we just talked about that. And so, well, we're not going to call it cover. We're going to call it a barricade. And, you know, it's a range prop. It's just, you know, like, so it's okay to, you know, because you get better splits and you get better tighter groups and so forth. It's like, yeah, but what is the purpose of cover? Well, maybe we need to rethink it and say, what is the purpose of a barricade? Should we start asking that question? Say, what is the purpose of a barricade?
It makes your Instagram videos look cool. Makes you hold your rifle at these funny angles. And did you know I could shoot through a mail slot that's at a 45-degree angle? Like, that's pretty impressive.
I'm impressed already.
I have no fucking idea what you're talking about, but I'm impressed. Yeah.
Bro, so Sonny, I've got one for you. So check this out. I didn't want to call bullcrap on this person, but I saw a video and a guy was at a shooting bench and he's like, "Hey, let's do some real manly shooting," right? So he gets a bayonet out and he puts out an AR and he gets on his bench and the camera shifts from him where you can see him shooting. Then it shifts to a berm downrange, which looks like it's 100 yards from the bench. You can't tell. And it's got little white hanging steel plates, like 8-inch hangers, right? And of course, they're going clang, clang, clang. And I was like, is that real? Because here's what I know about barrels and barrel harmonics. You know, if you lay your barrel against whatever, the barricade, the cover, the flower pot, or whatever, if you lay your barrel against it, generally that throws your shot up pretty good. So here's what I did today. I took an M16 AR-15, basically a clone of an M16A2, and I took a 5.56 chambered AK because I wanted to be able to use the same ammunition for both. But the AK I've got is the BFT 5.56, and it has an AK-74 muzzle brake on it, right? So, and the bayonets I took the new Marine Corps one, and then I took an AKM Type 2 with the super cool bakelite handle and the hammer on the end of it. You know, the good ones you can use as an ice pick or a hammer or whatever. And hey, hats off. You guys came up with the wire cutter thing first. Okay, Buck Knives completely stole it. Gave zero credit, but it was there for you. Who did it first? So, anywho, I did my testing, and I was kind of shocked. I wasn't shocked that the AK's groups weren't as tight as the 20-inch barreled AR, but I was shocked that the change in the group size was essentially insignificant with the AK. And so I started like, oh, this is weird. This is not something that I expected to happen. And so, but if you think about it, there's the ring on the AK bayonet. The ring is on the muzzle brake. It's actually not laying on the barrel. So you've got the lug, which is attached to the front sight post, the front sight housing, right? And then you have the ring, which is all the way out front on the AK-74 brake. Whereas with I was getting not only a bigger spread, but I also had my point of impact with the AR-15 M16 was about 3 inches high, 3 inches higher than without the bayonet. So the bayonet was causing the groups to spread out, to string out, and it also altered the impact because it altered the flex and the harmonics of the barrel. But when you put a bayonet on an M16, the ring is all the way back where the barrel and the muzzle brake attach to each other. So I just,
I'm wondering if this is the thing with just a bayonet, or I'm wondering if the way barrel mounts into trunnion itself, if that is actually the difference between AR and AK design as far as any kind of insignificant barrel movement when it's resting on something between the two designs.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I haven't done tests like that because it would require significant, with bayonet, without bayonet, see the changes, make sure that it's all the other metrics are the same.
I did all the geeky metric stuff, but
you need the 90-degree gas block AK, 45 degree. Like, does that matter? Length of because that gas tube, is that acting like a support or strut, so it only whips after the gas port? Or
of course, if you went back to a traditional AKM with a slant brake, now you've got the bayonet mounted farther back, and it's actually touching barrel, shall we say, kind of. Well, it's actually touching the slant brake, but it's not stuck out as far. So, I mean, I'm sure we'd have to do a lot more scientific research to come up with that. But I was surprised though that the AK had better consistency, even though the groups were larger, with the bayonet in place there was a greater deviation from the M16 with the bayonet in place. So, but I did not push the barrel into the barricade. I made sure that only the handguards were touching the rest, not the barrel. So maybe next time I'll do that.
Next time you gotta hang like a rotisserie chicken off the bayonet or something. see if having a piece of meat hanging on there affects group size. But yeah.
But going back to cover.
Yeah, I doubt those accuracy differences matter as much as like exposing your whole body.
Yeah, like exposing like 3/4 of your torso. You know, like I almost feel like a crazy person because, 40 years ago we had settled like, okay, when you're using cover or a barricade, only expose the minimum amount of yourself required to make the shot. Mm-hmm. That's the standard. And now, by watching the, you could go right now in barricade. You couldn't type in cover. If you went to if you type in use of barricade, that's all you're going to see. And what's crazy is there are people in uniform that are endorsing that as if that's the standard. Like, oh yeah, yes, that's what you need to do. When did we get away from the idea that we're practicing that the whole purpose of use of cover is to stop incoming rounds from hitting our bodies? When did that?
Or at the very least, for that cover to serve as a visual barrier that delays the time of incoming.
Right. It's like, I put it this way in the book. I said, okay, so there's a reason we don't extend beyond cover. So a bad guy's looking at the house. There's 4 windows in the house. And, well, I guess I should shoot at the one where there's a rifle barrel sticking out. That figured it out for me, right?
There's something interesting, that if you go to about 82,000 videos from the war in Ukraine, both sides, when they're shooting from inside the buildings across the street or whatnot, they're shooting from deep inside the room.
Yeah.
Like deep. Even the snipers, they would have table like at the opposite wall from the window, and that's where they're working from.
But this is it Kyle Lamb's fault? I'm sorry, Kyle.
No.
But yeah, because all right, can we call? All right, there you go. The Bianchi Cup barricade shooting. Yeah, that's one of the special pistols that has the jammer on it. It has the side jammer that you push into the barricade. Yeah. Oh, we got the Army doing it. So that's one of my favorite ones, Sonny. When people justify by telling you that the AMU does it.
Hey, what about this one? Can you? I don't know what screen you're seeing this on, Paul. Can anybody see anything wrong with what these guys are doing? If that's cover.
Well, I mean, there's more. You just can't see it. The other parts is invisible.
Yeah.
Like now, there is for precision rifle shooting, there is a difference between shooting a silhouette target or a human that's 17 yards away or even 70 yards away versus stabilizing a rifle for a 500-yard shot. But what I'm seeing is these people are like, well, no, the snipers lay on derp, derp, derp. I'm like, yeah. The snipers aren't shooting cardboard at 52 yards.
Look, these barricades, they even have a box for people to stand in. That way they go like, don't get too far away, boy.
If you step out of the box, you DQ. You're DQ, fired.
Cool. Awesome.
But this idiocy. And no one has the
How stupid would I feel if I asked who and why and when came up with this kind of this barricade that I see in
from
competition?
where did this originate? Because it always wasn't a thing. When I was active and like when I went through police academy, we never extended around cover. Never. So when did the shift take place? Was it when we got cell phone cameras on our cell phones? Is that when it happened?
Well, so I think as far as I know, I call these VTAC barricades, and so that is Kyle Lamb, something that he came up with, the putting some things at some different angles and making some tough things. So he created a tool. He created a tool in my mind to help people understand offset and things of that nature when shooting in confined spaces. So to know that if you're shooting through a mail slot, that you might have your optic right through there, but if you're holding it traditionally, you're going to end up punching holes down in here.
Why is this male?
I have no idea. Again,
it's a technical question.
Something that would be, there's some kind of tight window. Is it chain link? Like, I don't think the intent was this barricade to have all these holes in it. It's like the one piece that you're using is the piece you're using. That's your only see through it.
Right. And yeah. We understand that we're pretending that the other holes don't exist when we're using it. But
so that kind of makes sense for some things that people may not think about, or what does the bullet do at distance? Like I remember the first time shooting a rifle at about 200 yards with the optic basically at the 9 o'clock. So it was turned sideways. It was more of like a rooftop kind of thing. There was a guy on a rooftop somewhere here. So something like this, where I'd say he's exposing quite a bit over the top of that roof line, where he could get his head down about even with the roof line if you turn that thing sideways. But then at 200 yards, that throws your trajectories kind of cattywampus to what it's supposed to do. So your holds are all weird and different. So if shooting using a barricade like that, something I can cut into a single sheet of plywood versus building an entire roof to put on the range to learn that lesson, okay, this is a tool that can teach that lesson a little bit cheaper. I'm really stretching to give benefit of the doubt.
I know you're giving him. You're like
way beyond my comfort.
Yeah. Total good intentions, and then within 15 seconds, it was bastardized.
Yes,
people are shoving their barrels through the holes and resting there. That's even worse than the guys that rest my barrel on the the 6 to 8 inches of barrel that sticks out in front of my handguards. I'm going to rest that right on. Of course, in their brains, they're like, well, it doesn't matter, because the target's only 27 yards away. Who cares if it throws the shot off by an inch? Who cares? Yeah, but what's the purpose? What is the purpose of the barricade? Is the purpose of the barricade to stop the bad guy from knowing where to shoot you or to be able to shoot you? Or is the purpose of the barricade to be a gun rest? And then it goes back to the intellectual honesty question that we have for people, like, what's more important in a gunfight? And they're like, oh, well, not getting shot, but I'm not going to get shot because I'm going to put a wall of lead downrange to the point where I can't get shot because the wall of lead is my cover.
You know how many times in the real world I said I'm never going to be punched because the wall of my fists will be impenetrable?
That's right.
Didn't fucking work out.
Just I'm going to throw so many punches out in front of my face
that
I'll never get hit, man.
Just roll. Nothing is coming through it.
Nothing's coming through this.
Right.
You know, and people who say
you
that
wake
stuff.
Up and you go like, shit, that was one off, right? Right?
Yeah. The people that say the wall of lead thing never seem to have a belt fed. You know, if there's a 200 round belt hanging out of the bottom of it, all right, I'll give you a little bit. But there's not, though. And the problem, going back to practice score versus practicality, is we need to talk about primacy and the reality that whatever you do the most becomes your default action.
Don't say that certain actions repeated over time become a habit. Don't you say so.
You know, that is the nonsensical thing that we get thrown back at us by the mind guards, is that I know what to do and I know how to use cover correctly, like you say.
Like, so basically they are paraphrasing shit that we all been laughing about for millennia. Well, if this was for real,
I would do it.
Oh, got it. Understood.
So I took 1 2-day class where they taught me how to use cover correctly. And then I decided that I wanted to impress strangers on the internet with my practice score. So I started playing a game. And of course, playing the game is the exact opposite of what I learned in that one class a few years ago. But if it's ever real, I'll do it like I did it back in that class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true story, bro.
I'm just saving my grandmasterness for the gunfight. So I'm going to shoot slow. And then whenever it's time, I'm going to pull out the .7 bill drill.
Dude, did you read the excerpt from the book I sent you, Sonny?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Did you appreciate it? It just kind of came to me. But
I mean, it's it's something that I would expect from you. I mean, you'll read plenty of those kind of moments in my book too, which now kind of when it's sent off to the publisher and all that, I go like, I kind of did it for my own satisfaction to say it. You know what I mean? Because it was cool. It's not wrong. It's absolutely right. But I'm like, maybe I should have not done it. But then I go like, nah, I should.
Nah. I'm not going to be dead and have people say, well, you never said that. You never told me not to do that. Oh yeah, I did. Yeah. I did tell you not to do that. But the idea that we can, and we get it. I'm sure you do, Lewis, although you've been very busy beaver, so you don't spend as much time on Instagram anymore. But these comments from these the groupthink worshipers about, well, if you can't shoot fast, all the tactics are pointless. There's no tactic that can save you if you can't shoot fast. Or I'll shoot. We actually it was an interesting thing because we had a father and 3 sons come to take a private training class. It was great. I mean, their mindset was perfect. They were locked on, but they have an older brother. The 3 sons have an older brother who won't go to. He's never been to one of my training classes. You know why? Because he's trying to get his hood and cape so he can be a grand wizard, right? He's working on his USPSA TQ plus grand wizard rating. And his younger brothers, they're like, oh, I can't remember what his name is. They're like, yeah, that sounds like what he says. He's like, well, I'm going to get the first hit. So, all that stuff doesn't matter because my first shot on target.
That chick in Montreal sure did.
She did, man. She scored that first hit, man. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the really messed up thing is number one, you guys probably haven't looked at it, but I've looked it up. The mainstream news media is doing 100% 1984 memory hole on that. They're literally pretending that she did not smoke that guy. Like they're saying we're unsure of the circumstances in which the bystander died. What? The whole world saw the video within a half an hour of her turning around and smoking that guy, dude, like headshot, bam. But all of the news stories say either currently still being investigated, unsure, don't know. I mean, it is a total like psyop. It's a complete and total media psyop. If you wanted to know if the media will willingly and deliberately lie to you, that is the perfect example. Because it's so outside of their narrative, because we know all police officers should be women. Because if all police officers were all women, there would be no crime and everyone would be happy and it would be wonderful. And they can't make themselves report that she shot an innocent person. She killed an innocent person. But if that would have been a white man who had a laminated card in his pocket that said concealed carry permit, that dude they'd be pillorying him. They'd be dragging him down the street in chains right now and talking about, see, this is what happens when you let these untrained people carry guns and so on and so forth. It's insane. And there was one video where they're trying to get to they knew the guy apparently busted out a window in a hotel and was cacking off some rounds. Apparently, and didn't hit anyone because he was using an iron-sighted SKS. I guess he was just like shooting at. He was shooting at area targets. He wasn't shooting at spot at point targets. He was shooting at an area target, and so he probably hit the area. But when they were going to get to him, they get to these glass doors that are closed, and they can't get through them. So all of them pile up in front of the glass doors and start kicking and punching and trying to break the doors.
Cool.
It's the most insane thing. And like you said, Tony, they're so lucky to have such inept opponents.
Yeah.
And we don't want to talk about it, but the first time these people, these clowns in blue uniforms, encounter a 4-man team that has trained together, it's going to be ugly.
It's going to be slaughterhouse.
It's going to be ugly. But they're so used to going up against ineptness that no one ever said, hey, man, let's not all stand in front of the glass doors.
Yeah. Like, hey, Susan, you got a body already on this op. Why don't you touch one off into the corner of that glass door for us? Get us in there a little faster.
Yeah. It was a clown show. But when it comes to the good thing is that everybody who is trained with us has a higher level of skill than the Montreal Police Department that they probably spent $200,000 per officer to train and equip.
Yeah. Most of that was for sensitivity, though.
Since DEI training, yeah. De-escalation training. Yeah.
She's like, I'm so non-judgmental. I don't even see the difference between rabbis and active shooters anymore.
They're all the same. I'm colorblind. They're all the same, man. They're all the same. Oh, it's crazy. But yeah. And the funny thing is, all the reports I've read, because if a Daniel defense clatters to the ground at the feet of a dead shooter, they take pictures of it. They tell you every single thing about it. all the news stories that I've read, and I've read like half a dozen, they don't even mention the gun. Like, they just say the shooter had a rifle.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. But man, if that would have said Smith & Wesson on the side of it, or Daniel Defense or whatever, boy, you would know. The whole world would know.
An AR or an AK, you would have definitely heard about it. You would have known. They don't want people to realize that bad things can happen with any gun.
Yeah.
You could take a Kel-Tec sub 2000 and do bad things with it.
Well, that's what he, she, it had in the Christian church in Nashville. She had a sub 2K, yeah, which was weird because in the hallway videos, she has the AR on her slung, and she's walking around with the 9mm in her hand, and I was like, that's weird. Is the AR there just so it will be there at the crime scene? Because she's not using it.
Yeah.
I wonder about things like that.
Inclusivity, man.
Yeah.
Inclusivity.
It was identifying as a fashion accessory.
Well, yeah, Sonny, and well, they'll use anything. Look at that Joker down there in at Bondi Beach in Australia. It was Australia, right? Yeah. That dude knew how to run a bolt gun.
Yeah.
That dude was running a bolt gun. He'd practiced. You know, and so now we have to make all bolt actions. So it's like, whatever.
It's the weapons of war, man.
Yeah, I think Australia already did that though. Probably didn't work out very well.
Yeah, you know.
Well, that's the other thing. That's another reason the media's dropped the story, was because they hold Canada up as this gun control paradise that we're supposed to be mimicking.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of, because there was an active shooter in New York as well, right? And they said he was going to the
office building.
It was in the office building. They said he was going to like the NFL.
Oh yeah, and he accidentally went to
BlackRock
and accidentally killed that one guy.
Yeah,
who had nothing to do with anything. They're like, yeah, he's really mad at the NFL, so he went to the BlackRock office and he saw that dude, and he's like, yeah, you're the guy I hate. Pow.
So with the Canadian layers of stuff with that shooter, I think they're going to be happy to just try and make that story all go away.
It's
Don't
like, yeah,
ask any questions why he was at that building or who owns it or anything like this. We're just going to, these are not the droids you're looking for.
Dude, that was
the bad guy's dead. Don't worry.
Yeah. We got him, man. And well, what about that rabbi dude? Like, how did he expire? We're still looking into it.
Yeah,
coronavirus.
It might have been. It was long. He had long COVID.
It was a misplaced pager.
Yeah, he had a blood clot. He had a blood clot broke loose and went to his brain. Yeah, and dude, that's another thing that's psycho. Is so we're not allowed to ask like if people took the shots now because it's insensitive, but like a person that my wife works with, one of their relatives got bit by a dog and died. And they're like, wow, what happened? Was it sepsis? Was it like infection and stuff? And they said, oh no, it was a blood clot broke loose and went to her heart and made her. I was like, huh? And I'm like, and of course you can't say, what's going on with the blood clots and stuff.
Well, the thing about it is that, just within the last 2 weeks, the actual study came out. Someone did it independently, and it's verified, with all the science, that they said that mRNA genome 19 was found in the cancer cells in humans. And interestingly enough, you cannot find that article. If you Google it, if you try to find it or whatnot, you cannot freaking find it. But it basically says what all of the conspiracy theorists were saying since 2020, about the Pfizer, Moderna, and all the other stuff. But yeah, shh.
Not
But
gonna
we
talk,
have freedom of speech, but shh,
we're not going
not
to talk
over,
about that
not over.
because it makes people feel bad. And what point is it? What does it matter anyway? I mean, it's over now. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
it's over now.
Yeah, forgive everybody.
Forgive,
yeah, we
especially
need to forgive.
Dr. Fauci and all the others. Yeah.
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 Like, wait,
All
what am
the-
I forgiving you for? And what are you forgiving me for? Like, you poisoned a bunch of people and I just did do it. So why are you forgiving me? I'm supposed to
Brother.
forgive you.
It's like, dude, the people diagnosing at stage 4 now is insane.
Yep.
Like it never in the history of mankind have we had these turbo cancers. These people
Not just cancers, Paul. We talked to some people in maternal, care, midwives and all that stuff. Like you talking 300 to 400% increase in miscarriages in Canada.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Not 30% because you can go like, it's climate. It's the global warming.
Yes, the climate change.
300 to 400% specifically in people that took the shot.
Yeah.
And you kind of go like, nah, no, let's not talk about it. Let's move on.
Well, when I taught my sons this, when crime stats, I said, if a crime stat increases by 5% or more, let's say, in Detroit between '06 and '07, there was an increase of 5% of homicides or 5% of rapes or whatever. That constitutes a crisis. That means that we have to focus on that, right? A 5% increase over 1 year of any type of crime means that we have to focus on that. We have to look and see what's going on because we expect
there
so
will be
much.
$1 million spent on studies
Yeah.
and congressional hearings will happen and all
Yeah.
that. Absolutely.
Or
Yeah,
they
I
just
mean,
change the way they're counting what they're counting.
Well,
Change
it
the
depends who the mayor is and other things, and in which
But-
state. There's variables.
but with 5%, if a 5% is reason for concern, but a 200% increase in infant mortality, a 300% increase in infant mortality is not reason for concern.
Not in the new world, Paul. No, you live in the old world. You're a dinosaur.
Yeah, I know. I'm crazy. The old crazy person. That's me.
ChatGPT said it was no problem.
Yeah, they said it's. Don't worry about it. All right. Stop looking stuff like that up. Oh, that's crazy. So, what is your practice score, Lewis?
I think is a low score good? Mine's close to 0.
It's like, well, what number will make you happy?
Paul, do you know that up until what was it, like a month ago, 2 months ago,
Yeah.
I had no idea what practice score is. I thought it was 2 words, practice score. And they told me it's actually a website with the system, how it works.
No,
And
Lewis
I
had to
ask
tell me.
these guys, what is fucking Bill Drill less than 6 months ago? I didn't know what Bill Drill is.
No, they had to tell me. I'm like, what are you talking about? I thought it was a joke. I thought
That's
it was
what
I thought it was a joke.
I
And
thought
they're
it
like,
just people
no,
say
man, it's
quickly, my practice score. When I'm shooting free throws, I hit out of 10 in my last practice. So that's my practice score.
no, it's so random people on the internet can be impressed by your fractional. Like you moved from a 98 to a 97 in your district.
Yeah.
Well, I just saw another post from that John Valentine. So he and I are not friends on Facebook, but I'll get a thing where it's like a suggested post. And once again, I can't comment just like the last one. And it was talking about people saying like, oh well, you can still be accurate and lose a match. And then the mean comment is like, that's what someone who cheats at practice score would say. Like, how can you is practice score a game that you can cheat at? Can I get my GM Grandmaster Wizard right now?
Dude, that's that's the whole thing. That's the gamesmanship. And you confront these people with this crap, and they're like, it's extremely important and it's critical to be able to, it's like these people that post BD or don't want to hear from you or something like that, like BD first before I listen to what you're going to say. And I'm like, BD? What kind of weird queer stuff is this guy talking about? And I'm like, I had to ask somebody, what is this gay person saying? Is this like some kind of gay sex thing or what? Like this comment, BD or don't want to hear from you or whatever. I'm like, and then someone jumped in there like, no, we need to know what your practice score is before we're going to listen to what you have to say. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Shouldn't you be updating your Grindr account right now or something? Like, I don't know. Did Sonny just update his practice score?
No, he's showing me something from this John Valentine guy. Pressure test training exists to close the gap between shooting, fighting, decision making. I can't even read it, seriously. Like, I just want to see Josh go up and hit him with a wrench or something and be like, all right, pressure test that.
I got my blackjack, don't worry.
No, and here's the thing, it's like people start, it's so easy for this to be taken like a personal attack or something like that. But you go like, dude, this is internet. Anything we say, it is for public consumption. I mean, and if you're not willing to put your chops on the chopping block, so to speak, for internet to dissect it, don't do so. Don't do so because your self-righteousness that somehow you know better because you are a former fucking ranger or you trained with a former tier 1 squeal or whatever, and then you say something and then there's little critique or little barking going against what you said and people go like, oh, this guy is an asshole. It's kind of like current political atmosphere, you know what I mean? Like someone said no new wars, why are we in the war? Oh, you're a traitor to the country. And you go like, are you fucking listening to yourself? Because you sound like fucking Communist Party in the 70s in Soviet Union.
Yeah.
And you're waving American flag. So these guys in the gun world, when they get upset about that we quote something or we use something, we go like, dude, you put it in the public domain.
Well, that specifically with what John Valentine said, I didn't think that was a quote at all. I assumed, I listened to Andy Stanford talk about when he was first getting into competition and then it split between gamesmen and the tactical guys. I assumed from that point on, everyone said, well, tactical shooting is just a shitty version of what we do. So, I don't see a point of quoting someone's opinion when it's like a really general opinion and it's fucking stupid.
And it's been around forever.
Yeah,
it's not like because someone introduced a new word into it. This is what's so effed up in training world or training industry. There were guys that were trademarking. Now listen to this: trademarking the phrase "soft work."
Nice.
So basically, if I use soft work, when I go like just soft work, just push Josh's head. Basically, that's patented shit. It's two very common English language words or any other language for that matter.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Soft work as a one single word and they put TM, trademark.
Sure.
Dude.
And I look at that and I go like, how fucking insecure you have to be to start doing shit like that and then require kudos and you know what I mean? And almost royalties because you invented the phrase and everything that's behind it. Like
are you talking about the same guy that tried to patent the term use of force continuum?
There's a number of guys that no, it's not.
Yeah, there's a former frogman who decided that he was going to trademark the term use of force continuum.
Yeah, I know about that individual. No, it's not the same guy.
Oh, okay.
But,
all right.
But throughout the industry, if you look at it, and some huge names and some people that I actually personally like and all that, they jump all over the fucking planet. They go like, oh, you stole and used this phrase, And I feel now compelled not to hurt their fucking sensitive feelings, to if I use something, is I have to attribute it. Although it's such a common phrase that's been around for fucking ever, but then they go like, well, in this context, I'm the first guy who put it in a published format, such and such. And I go like,
Yeah.
dude, it's a fucking English language. It ain't my first or even second language. I'm sorry, dude. Sometimes I'm gonna say things that sound exactly what you do because of my limited vocabulary, and I cannot exchange the word fast with expeditious, to make it different. And I'm sorry I impeded on your fucking trademark
Dude.
invention of the phrase that describes basically a punch.
But when you've been, see, that's the thing is these people that are fresh out of diapers, they forget, like, I've been doing this and I've been paying attention as a grown adult for 40 plus years now, right? You are not the first person to say those words. Our dear friend John Farnham, I took John's class. I trained with him in 1986, and I'll admit, I was completely spoiled. That was my first ever professional firearms training class, 4 days with John Farnham. So I go out into the world thinking, oh, that's how firearms training is conducted. And then I start getting to other places and I'm like, whoa, these people are like dinosaurs, man. But then as time's tick-tocking by, I'm reading articles that are being written in the 90s, 98, 99, whatever. People are like, yeah, we just started doing that, and this is the new thing that we do. And I was like, dude, John was talking about that shit in 1986. I'm glad that you've caught up, but you ain't the first person to do that.
And here's the thing, and John wasn't first to talk about those things either.
No, John made his chops out in the desert with Cooper.
Out when people started killing each other with using certain tools or in certain environments and all that. Maybe it wasn't quite framed the same way, and he didn't say, cover or barricade, but he said a corner. But the essence is the same, you know what I mean? But then someone changes one word, a verb or whatnot, and they fucking, I'm the first one who said that, dick on the stick. That's it. And you go like, dude, like, can you get over yourself? Do you need so badly to have that knowledge that you will be remembered for something, for a fucking common phrase in English language? Really? Is your penis that little?
What did James say? If I wanted to name something, I'd buy a boat. If I wanted to be able to name something, I'd buy a boat. Oh, that's why. He had that hard, like, don't name stuff after yourself, because eventually it'll become obsolete, or it'll become bastardized.
As most things.
That's the other thing. You could have all the greatest intentions in the world, and then 10 years from now,
situational awareness, man. It has lost its sense because people misuse it and bastardize it to such degree that I'm now very careful to even use those words because they no longer carry the same meaning, the same weight. You know what I mean? Or tactical.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. The word.
I hate using it because of what it started meaning these days.
Oh, yeah. That's like warrior.
Yeah, warrior. That's another.
Well, it made me almost visibly ill during GWAT. Everybody who's wearing a uniform is now a warrior. Or during COVID, everyone's a hero.
Everyone was a hero. Truck drivers.
Everyone's a hero. Everyone's a hero. Yeah. Everyone's a hero.
Yeah, I know. And it
except the people who don't take the shot. You're not a hero.
I'm not. I'm a bastard. I'm not a warrior, and I'm Russian. So you know what?
Yeah.
Fuck y'all.
But the sad thing is we have to use the language. I mean, we could just like say put the thing in the thing and pull in the thing, and we could do that.
I know a guy who does that.
Thing. Remember when the AR, somebody took the paint pen and put thing with arrows? Remember that? That was years ago. And only some people got it. They're like, what? The thing and the thing. Find some bullets. All right, put them in your gun.
It's
My
kind of
point-
like training with Vlad, you know. Nothing has names, like, you know what I mean? Like Ushigeri, Mawashigeri, and all that. You know how to do this. Just hit him in the face,
Yeah, just do it.
you know, and you're like,
Get the thing,
oh,
man.
got it. Just do the thing. Got
Hit
it.
him in the thing. Oh. So, what's the title of your book there, homeboy?
Don't be a shitty student.
Ah, yeah. Don't be a shitty student. Awesome.
I don't know if it's awesome, but people starting telling me that there's going to be a lot of possibly upset people. And I gave it. I gave it to 5 people to read about 4 weeks ago. None of them have finished it, and it's only 260 some pages. So that
Oh,
I started suspecting it's either really bad or it's really hard to read.
well, here in the
So-
modern world, I can tell you that everything over 200 pages is a long read for the average millennial brain. Like,
Well, I didn't give it to average millennial brains. That's the thing.
well, you couldn't sell a copy of Shogun today. Like, they couldn't put Shogun on the paperback copy of Shogun on the shelf. No one would ever read it. No one would ever buy it. Did you ever read Shogun?
I
Shogun?
don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
The
read
book-
the Shogun.
Yeah. So it's like what one.
Funny
like
enough,
one,
I have not seen
one-
the movie though.
1,000. Well, that's the thing. The movie is a complete total disappointment. I saw the movie first when I was a kid because that's when it came out on TV as a miniseries, the original one with the gay dude. And then when I was in the Marine Corps, I had time to kill, and I found a paperback copy of Shogun, and I read it cover to cover, and I was like, oh, the miniseries makes it seem like it's all about the English dude. It's like it's his story. It's like, no, it ain't his story. He's a sub character. But yeah, but my point is that book was 1,087 pages. It was that thick. And no publisher today would put a book on the shelf that thick because no one would
That's
read.
why, you know,
They
after
would make it.
talking-
They would make it
that's
3
why I'm
books.
self-publishing, because I'm not gonna deal with any of that shit. And you know, it's just a thing that my future projects will be more than 260 pages, probably more than 500 pages. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not dealing with the system. I'm not dealing with any of that shit. And maybe I'm not going to be advertised by Penguin Publishing or Penguin Press or whatnot, but that's fine too. You know?
I agree with
dense.
Clem. Yeah, it's
Well, Lewis said the last time we talked, he said he's still on fucking chapter 1.
yeah.
And it has 9 chapters. I'm like, what the fuck you doing, man?
Well, to be fair,
I mean, I know he's been
To be
busy
fair,
and all that, so I know that.
some of
So-
those you're like, oh well, you should probably reread this, and you're like, okay, let's go back and reread this, through the lens of what I just read, and then continue back, and then it's like, the end of chapter 3, it's like, hey, you should go back to this, and like, okay, go back, and then
yeah.
chapter 4,
To
you
be
should come back.
fair, when you write books that are full of references, people have to like go back and read the
You mean,
reference.
you mean people actually have to pay attention?
Yeah, they're
I
like,
know.
oh,
It's a rough business, man.
it is. It is, bro.
Kind of like paying attention to what cover is and what cover isn't. It's a rough business, man.
Well, I just use the term barricade because it's all encompassing.
Right.
Yeah,
But
Paul, you just didn't see the master class taught. Tennecore has a 40-minute video of the barricade master class.
Barricade Masterclass.
I think it's like maybe 100 yards. If I had to guess, they didn't say, but I know Lewis and I watched it before. It's a lot of, like, oh, I have this bag and I, put it on this thing and do a bunch of shit.
don't even get me started with the guys that have to carry sandbags with them now. Like,
Yeah.
You know, I actually first time after one of the Lewis's class, when he was teaching people certain things not to do when they were zeroing in the red dots on the pistols, I actually was in some kind of a sports store or something like that. I actually looked up at those rests, those bags, and some of them are like fucking $100 plus. And I'm like, are you
Oh, yeah.
fucking kidding me?
it's $5 worth of material and beans,
I had no idea
plastic
that
BBs or whatever.
that
Yeah.
timers are fucking $200 and $300 and $400, and then the Air Pros now are running up to $1,000. I'm like, what?
The whole idea that
What
I want to try to
happened?
bring to the table with
Oh, I heard something.
Yep, I'm pulling up this.
Are you pulling up how to work a barricade?
Yeah.
We just want to double check and make sure that you know, so we're all on the same page. Because I like seeing your setup. You don't have the little bag on you right now, so if someone is 50 yards away, you're going to have to shoot offhand.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound smart.
What am I going to do if I don't have?
But look at that treated 2x4 lumber, still with the tags on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It still has a tag.
I just used some in my house. I removed a couple of old wall AC units, so I had to rebuild the frame and all that. Yeah, man.
I'll go back and see how far they are. I assume it's not very far.
Yeah.
That's not 100 yards.
No, that's a 50-yard berm, maybe.
So here, let's listen.
Yep.
Right. It's
and
like,
you can't get your heels under your butt,
I mean, I could.
like on your toes even.
I mean, that feels way less stable.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
Oh, dude, they'll be
able to
lucky if
way
that
less
target's to 50
stable.
yards.
But I am pretty. I mean, I feel confident about 10 ring right here.
Because I'm shooting a 300 millimeter fucking Hurricane multiple rocket launcher from my shoulder. Right.
Oh yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Concept. to the kneeling one,
That's
only
the master
we now
class.
have to utilize our legs. Never
this
want
guy
to do.
is
So
like one of the
if
best
I'm way too
barricade
high and when I mount the
shooters in
gun,
the
I'm
world,
looking
I
at the
guess.
bottom of the
This Mark
target.
Smith guy?
What I don't want
Yeah,
to
I'm
do
waiting
is
for the
like use
Grandmaster
muscle to lower
class,
myself
so-
down. I don't want to bend into the knees and start to kind of
Should
do
we
a
host
squat.
him?
How am I going to do that? My feet are going to become my macro elevation adjustment. So I'm going to just start spreading my feet apart to lower myself to the ground wherever I want to. If
So
I
you gotta
find
do the
that I'm
splits.
now too
So
high
that's good.
above the
That's
target, I
good.
need the dot to come down because I'm connected
If
to
you
the
have a
back of
low
the gun.
piece
I
of
bring my
cover,
feet
just
together
do
and the
side
dot
split.
comes down onto the target. It's a pretty
I think
high
that guy's
standing
past the
position, so that's
180.
what it's going to be right about there.
The guy in the
For
back.
the purposes
Oh,
of
that's
stability,
Okay, can you
means
stop? I feel like my
a
dick is
thing
getting a
that-
cancer.
Oh man, yeah. What's this guy doing downrange here? He's in front of the yellow line. What the hell? There's a dude
Well,
in front
he's
of the yellow
behind
line. That's
cover.
not safe.
Yeah, that's cover right there.
Yeah.
Oh, is that
You-
cover? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's using that. The
Dude.
Ranger.
What he's talking about is basic marksmanship 101. That's like fundamental rifle marksmanship. The using your feet, like spread them. That is not a master class. I mean, well, I guess it's a master class if you bought a gun yesterday.
He's
And,
standing
and-
behind a barrel. That's master enough.
Yeah.
Dude.
You
Dude.
But hey,
know, this was a sad day for me, and I was like hoping for, like uplift, and this became more sad.
Oh,
know what
I'm
I'm
sure we
saying?
can come up with some uplifting stuff. I'm sure.
I
Sure
don't
we can
know.
do
in
it.
this,
If we
in
dig,
this
we-
arena of the performance
we can
competition
come up-
shooters and all
Oh,
that
man.
gayness, I don't know.
Oh. Whew, man. I don't. I got a new Pac Pro 9000 shot timer today, and what's the new hotness? Lewis, did you look at that at the new Staccato article that I sent you? Oh yeah, it's like, so the dude, like, they got the sexy model guy, he's got his war belt on, and of course he has the obligatory, he's got his shot timer over his left front hip, right? Because you have to. And all of the pictures are him looking down, right? He's like looking down, like as he's pointing the gun toward the holster, and then he's looking down at his waist to check the time, to see how fast his split times were, and then. And
this is subliminal messaging for you to understand that when you buy a gun like that, you basically become irresistible piece of ass. You're so sexy, you want to fuck yourself.
But yeah, that's why you have to keep looking down. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and I commented in the article, I'm like, what is on the ground that this dude is looking at? And people weren't able to explain to me what was on the ground that was drawing his attention. He's like, I gotta look down. You guys want to keep going while I go and wash my hands?
Sure.
All right, keep going.
All right.
It was,
Don't just be silent.
I mean, I guess the positive takeaway from this stuff is there are places and people teaching true
the real thing.
use,
Yeah.
like serious use things. So it is out there. People have to look for it more. So where Jaeger used to say he would have to fire students before they show up, I think that era in training is kind of over, or at least it seems like for people like us, we don't have to worry about people who want that razzle dazzle nonsense showing up in our classes and taking away from what we deliver to the students who are seeking out what we have. So that's kind of a positive of it being so popular out there. Maybe I'm today's my stretch day.
That's
I
kind of
see.
a kind of a
You're
thing.
really stretching it, man.
I understand the point, but then that's the if everyone's getting grifted into getting what they think that they want, then instead of you having to fire students that are coming to you that think they're getting something that they're not, instead of you preempting that, it's also kind of going to be like, what if everybody loves McDonald's and you're not McDonald's, you're RJ, and you run an actual restaurant. And it's like, okay, well, eventually you're going to have either word of mouth of people coming in just to stay afloat.
Oh, not saying it's great for business,
right?
But in the students doing more self-selecting, the what's able to be delivered, because just like in Don't Be a Shitty Student, that's the piece that needs to really be right for everything to happen.
Yeah.
So if the pool is getting way smaller, but those left in it are
the right people
and there for the right reasons, then that does take away a lot of the problems of the job that like Jaeger and I'm sure Paul have been fighting for years, and Sonny over the years, where now those guys will go to some beep class.
I don't know, man. I'm not saying that I'm arrived at some kind of conclusion or whatnot, but the other day I was reading something from one of the church fathers, and he was talking from very different perspective that relates to faith. And one phrase that he said, he goes, Jesus did not command us to be successful, or was the other term he used? Something along the same lines. He said he commanded us to be faithful. And that kind of hit because, from this vantage point of as far as what's going on in our industry or whatnot, I have a suspicion, again, it's not a conviction yet or whatnot, that in order to be successful in the Western business ways or whatnot, you probably going to have to sit at the table that otherwise you would want to fucking flip.
Yep, for sure.
Oh, dude, you're absolutely right. You and I and Lewis and Jay, we're all doing it wrong. We're all doing it wrong. If we wanted to be successful, we would have shot timers. We would have VTAC barricades on our ranges. We would be talking about split times. We would be doing videos on how to improve your bill drill. We would be doing, because we're doing the exact opposite. I'm not going to make, but at the same time, it's just like you said, faithful to it. I don't need, at some point in time, I'll be gone. And I told my sons this. I said, when I started writing, one of the things that I made sure to never, ever do, like back when we were killing trees and spreading ink on them and stuff, was to never make a promise that I couldn't keep or was not in a position to keep. Because people would, say, I'd contact someone, this is gun stuff. So, like, you need a gun, you need a holster, you need ammo, you need a derp, right? And a lot of them, they get excited, like, well, hey, when's this article going to be out? Right? And I could tell them, well, the editor said he wants it to go in the next issue of Guns and Sandwiches, right? But I don't have any control over that. Like, I could send it to him and he'd be like, oh, we got this new, the Herfinderfer 5000 just bought a back page ad. So their gun's going in as the feature this month. So Paul's article's going next month or whatever. And the reason I bring that up is because I said, I told him, like, look, I cannot. And I'll tell him, like, this isn't a spec piece. This is an assignment. The editor told me to do it. And I'm going to finish it. I'm going to send it to him. And they're going to print it whenever they see fit. And it could be next month. It could be in 6 months. And I don't have any control over that. And they're like, okay. Even the excited ones are like, okay, we get it. And so I never made a promise that I couldn't keep. And so what I was able to do, and I told my sons, is I was able to build my reputation one contact at a time. So by the time I was doing it for 4, 5, 6, 7 years or whatever, 8, 10, 20 years, if I called them and said, hey, this is what I got going, they're like, yep, that's what he said. That's what he means. He's not going to bullshit me. He's not. And I said, that's how you do it. And I said, people that try and do it overnight or to become instantly successful are going to be instant failures. If you're instantly successful, you can become an instant failure. It's just that easy. And I know that I'm going to suffer the slings and arrows. I get what James was going through now. Were you around? I know Sonny was, but Lewis, were you around when the haters were like being the fashion police? Like, they couldn't debate James on what he said. Like, they had an inability. So they're like, oh, when I saw what kind of T-shirt he was wearing, I knew instantly I wasn't going to listen to this guy. I knew that his opinion was invalid. Or I saw what kind of jeans he had on, or there was a poster in the background of of Keltec or whatever. And I was like, I'll never listen to this guy again. And we get that. Like, we're getting that. People will take a screenshot of my hat and say, I'd never listen to this. Look at what kind of hat this guy's wearing. I would never. People went.
Hold on, let me cover the Nike symbol because I'm behind the child labor.
Dude, I'm wearing a freaking brushstroke shirt here.
I know.
I must support Rhodesia. Actually, I do. Rhodesia for life. But this is how insane the groupthink people are. I had a person go to one of my workout or post videos and critique my socks.
Your long socks that you wear?
The sock, yeah. They're like, oh.
I started writing a post about your socks like 4 years ago, man, and I still haven't finished it. So he got it.
You're still working on it? He's like, well, I knew I couldn't listen to this guy when I saw what kind of socks he was wearing in the gym. I'm like, wow. You're so void of any type of intellectual argument that's where you're going. It's like, yeah, when I saw what kind of socks he had on.
It's not rare. It's not rare at all. The intellectual laziness and people jumping on the first what they see as a low-hanging fruit to punch or whatnot. And it's not just on that side. We have people on our side of things that will do the same just as quick and just as nasty and just as fucking stupid and childish. And I'm just coming to the thing where I go like, you know what? Let them talk. I'll listen, and each and every one will expose themselves for who they are, where they are. and I will make my choices accordingly.
I got a question for you, Sonny. And this is an experience one. You have a little bit of experience with, center fire rifles and magazine fed rifles. When is the last time that you elevated the muzzle on a rifle, removed the magazine, and worked the action, and a live cartridge stayed inside of the chamber? Not a spent case, but a live cartridge. You muzzle up, magazine out, run the action, and the unfired cartridge stayed inside of the chamber.
About a year and a half ago, in the gun of one of the students who but made a mistake of chambering the wrong caliber round into the rifle.
Okay. But if it was chambered for that,
that's 5.56. Yeah,
2 gun.
Yeah, because apparently that is very common, and I have been. It's kind of like practice score and build drill. I was unaware of this plague of unfired cartridges remaining inside of chambers. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Sonny, I did you weren't there for Lewis and I talked about it. The guy in the gun store, the title was "Gun Store Clerk Shoots Coworker with Customer's Gun."
No, I wasn't there. And I never heard of it, but it just piqued my interest all of a sudden. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So literally gun store clerk takes customer's gun and negligently shoots coworker because
yelling at the customer for having a loaded
he's
gun.
He's yelling at the customer for not properly clearing the gun when he came into the store. So he's like, well, I'll do it. And then while he's in the process of clearing it, he shoots the coworker who's like standing over there on the other side of the counter. Right. So I was like, okay,
this sounds like fucking like Borat 3 or something.
Yeah. It's like literally gun store clerk shoots coworker with customer's gun. Customer takes gun and leaves. That's really, and then police show up and they're like, hey, did someone fire a gun in this? And they're like, oh yeah, we took Jimmy to the hospital and we're cleaning up all the glass and blood and stuff now. And they're like,
where's the gun? The guy walked out with it.
He took it and he left. And we're like, who was he? Oh, we don't know. It's like, okay. So I thought, hey, I'll just do a public service announcement. Like maybe people don't understand how the two-step process of clearing a semi-automatic handgun. Step 1, take the bullets out. Whoop, put them somewhere else. Step 2, lock the action open. Step 3, set the gun down. There you go. And apparently that's not enough. You got to look inside. You got to get like a bomb detecting dog to sniff it, and you got to run a light and the rod. Like I don't know. So I did one for the AR. Remove the magazine, lock slide open, and here's the psycho thing: how many rounds go into a chamber? Like 3, 4, 5. I don't.
Generally 1.
Like I thought most modern firearms could only chamber a single round. So
there are some German porn things, 2 into 1.
Yeah, German porn or Pornhub things, that's what that rabbi was doing. He was checking that out up there in Montreal. But so I removed the magazine, set it down, demonstrate how to put your thumb on the bolt catch, grab the thing, the round goes ka-chink and falls onto the floor. And I say, okay, now you can set this down or put it on a rack or do whatever. And we never touch the trigger. There's no need to. Touching the trigger is not part of the clearing process. A person actually wrote a comment, yeah, I know you saw the round come out, but you still need to visually inspect the chamber. How many rounds do you think were in the chamber? Do you think there could be another one in there? Like, yeah, I know you took the magazine out and then the one fell out.
But then what about the other 3?
But there still could be one in there. You don't know. Like, actually, I do know. Like, no, you don't know because you didn't look. I don't need to look.
Yes, it's that.
That's why every time I use a urinal, I stand there an extra 60 seconds. Just to make sure.
Make sure nothing else.
No more is going to come out. And then I give it a good bore peep.
Yeah. But I mean, the OC, they make medicine for OCD, right? And I don't think they're distributing it well enough, because the number of people that just went OCD on, like, this guy's obviously never been in the military, and you have to close the bolt and press the trigger, otherwise you don't know that it's clear, and blah, 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 blah. Like, dude, I'm trying to stop all of the when the clerk shoots his buddy with the other guys. I'm trying to make that stop happening. You're trying to make it keep happening. Like, and I was telling Lewis, I said, so when we worked with the ECS program, we had 200 students every 2 weeks for 3 years full time. And we had to clear them because the military runs cold ranges because they're gay. And every time they stepped off the line, we would have to make them muzzle up, remove the magazine, run the action.
I'm going to go do the thing and then watch for 60 seconds and come back.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I did the math, and I was like, okay, so with all of those students, with all of the time that we had them clear their pistols, and with all of the time that we had them clear their rifles, and we never had them press the trigger, we never had them put it in the clearing barrel, we're just like, point it at the sky, take the mag out, run the action, lock it open. Okay, now go away. Like 1.2 million times, not one time did a unfired cartridge ever remain inside of the chamber. They all fell out. Like everyone. Every single one.
That's the video, the black guy with the AR pistol. And he's like, yeah, this thing happened this one time, and I unloaded my gun, and then thunk, and he lights another round off.
Yeah, he repeatedly got the magazine and running the bolt backwards.
Well, here's the thing, man. Even if you swap the steps, so let's just say that you don't remove magazine, lock, slide, open. Let's say you do the opposite. Let's say you lock, slide, open, remove magazine.
Oh yeah.
You're still good.
Yeah,
as long as you can get your brain away from the, well, close it and pull the trigger now. It's like, no. Yeah. Close the bolt and pull the trigger is not part of clearing the gun.
Well, and that's the thing. So the dude at that sporting goods store followed the correct unload procedure, where what you're teaching people is not like, but only one of them is going to lead to you shooting your coworker. So if you want to really keep calling that the correct way to clear a gun, then you got to realize that it might put a bullet in your coworker. But
well, I had a guy tell me, and this guy's a friend of mine. He's like, well, I don't know if I should say his name. KL was Special Forces, and he presses the trigger to clear the gun. So if he's doing it, then I figure he probably knows.
He had a helicopter take him to town. Is that how you get there?
I mean, like literally he's like, well, he does that. And I was like, so I said, I'm trying to get people to explain to me how the gun can fire with the bolt lock to the rear. It's not a Sten. It's not a Gen 1 Uzi. I mean, I don't think that the AR fires from an open bolt. Does it? Does the AR fire from an open bolt? And I just didn't know it. Do they make one like that? I don't know.
There's $1 million idea.
Yeah, an AR that fires from an open bolt. Because I'm telling them, like, all right, so go ahead and explain to me how the gun can fire with the bolt locked open. I hate your hat. You have a, you
No,
have a, you have
your
a stupid.
socks suck.
Your socks are stupid.
Yes.
I knew I couldn't listen to you when I saw what kind of socks you were wearing. But seriously, that's what we're dealing with. I told Lewis, I said, I need to get a James Yeager whiteboard and a dry erase marker. And I'm like, all right, here we go. I want you guys to explain to me how guns fire with the action locked open. I want someone to explain to me how many rounds can be in the chamber at the same time. Dude, I even had a guy text me and say, you know that sometimes extractors fail, as in the case of a double feed. And that's why I should have visually inspected the chamber. I was like, do you not think I would have noticed if there was double feed going on with this gun when I pulled the magazine out?
Hey, Paul, just stand at your whiteboard and ask him, explain to me, go ahead, draw it up, how this gun with the double feed fires.
With the bolt open.
Yeah, it's like
slide pull back.
Go
ahead.
The extractor
it's double
failed.
The risk now, you know what I'm saying?
And so there could be a round in the chamber. It's like, do you know what a double feed is? Because the whole reason you have a double feed is because 2 rounds can't go in the chamber at the same time. All right, like, wow. And these people are out there. Dude, it goes back to Heraclitus. That dude, I should get a Heraclitus tattoo across. I'm going to do it. Across.
Make sure you
across my
it just for shits and giggles to make
shoulder blades
to make it unique.
Across my no, not even a single letter, not even one letter. I'm going to get Heraclitus across my shoulder blades. That dude was so smart. He's like, yeah, 10 of these motherfuckers, they're oxygen thieves. They shouldn't even, like, they're literally ammunition thieves. They're wasting ammo that real men could be using.
Yeah.
80 people are just hanging out waiting for lunch. 80 of them just want to know when lunch is. Right? And they're like, hey, we'll just do this stuff until lunch break, and then we're good. And then there's the 9+1. And when we started doing the 100-man classes, like 100 students every 2 weeks, I think I said 200 earlier. I meant 200 per month, whatever. I was like, Heraclitus, that dude, like, dude, you were a genius. He knew. He's like, I told you. Like, what do you think of me?
Yeah. Well, that's the shame of it, because the guys who are sub cannon fodder, like that first 10, their vote counts just as much as anybody else's, and they've probably got like 3 Instagram accounts to show.
So when you block one of them, they can come back in and
yep.
Yeah, talk about your socks. Oh, dude.
You know, it really is. It has I think that overall cognition, and not just overall humanity, but in our circle specifically, has declined to such degree that I am approaching the stage of becoming like a fucking recluse. Like, seriously,
Oh, dude.
I don't know if you heard, Mark Krebs passed away this morning from Krebs Custom Guns.
No, I did not.
Yeah, Mark Krebs passed away. It was a rough day for me because Mark Krebs passed away. He was a close friend of mine. He built my first custom AK here when I came to the US, like in 1995 or something. He was actual 105 in 545. And he's the true OG. I mean, he started making actually custom AKs before Jim Fuller. And Mark was a great guy. But one thing that you guys probably know is that, I was always very outspoken about Krebs enhanced safety on AK, saying that it's a no-no, right? And here's the illustration of how it has degraded as far as cognition. I had a number of people from AK community, pretty well-known names, message me and they go like, "Hey man, we should stand up for each other, and you criticizing Krebs enhanced safety is uncool and this and that and this and that." And I go like, has Mark asked you to talk about it? Because me and Mark Krebs talked about it. You know what I mean? And I explained to him very simple. I go like, your safety is not a problem. Your safety, your enhanced safety being introduced into American gun culture where finger fucking the safety is a standard is a problem. Because with that slanted extra thing, why is it introduced in there? So it's easier to fuck with it. And you can reach it, but it's slanted and it's right above the trigger. And what happens? Kapow. I'm like, safety itself, the mechanism would not be a problem if it was, let's say, introduced in the old Soviet Union gun culture. Because once we picked up the rifle and it came off the sling, safety is off. We're not waiting for a fucking side. Again, this is not a discussion or a debate about which culture is right, which culture is wrong. But cognition to understand that, why am I criticizing the device and people going like, "Oh, so Sonny must hate Mark Krebs." And I go like, how fucking stupid can you be? And me and Mark had numerous discussions about it. He goes like, "Yeah, man, I can see where your criticism is coming from." He goes like, "I never thought about it that way." And I'm like, because it's not your job. You're not per se out there 40 weekends out of the year, interacting with people on the range and doing crazy, dangerous shit or whatnot. You building the stuff, and so it's becoming to a point to where you go like having a lot of these discussions with 99% of people, even within our circles, it becomes like it's the opposite of antidepressant. It's a depressant. You know what I mean? And you kind of go like, you know what? I'm just gonna close this door here, turn this key here, and fuck the world.
I sent Jay a message. I said, "Dude, I know why Musashi left society behind and lived on a mountain." Like, I get that.
No, I'm totally on the page with the
like,
monks, that went and lived in the caves.
Like, I'm gonna go live. I'm gonna go live on this mountain. You guys can just keep doing whatever the fuck you want to keep doing down there. I don't care. I don't care. You don't care, so I don't care. I'm gonna go live on this mountain. And
if I hear about somebody doing cool sword stuff, I might show up and kill that dude. But other than that,
no, that sucks, man. I did not hear that. I didn't. Is it like public?
Yeah, it's public.
Oh.
Yeah, it's public. I mean, I got a call in the morning, but so then Mark Krebs passed away this morning, and then later this afternoon, I got a call. One of my other friends, one of the OGs of Sistema instructors, Big Sergey, who was like fucking mountain of a man. He's the guy who I told you about that we went to the Napa Valley vineyards and took the fucking glasses from Opus One Winery, and they go like, "Oh no, you cannot take these. These are like $50 glasses." And Sergey is like super heavyweight, master of sports and sambo and judo, and like no neck. His head is bigger than my whole torso. And he's wearing these little fucking sunglasses like this. He turns around and it is like very natural Russian accent. He's like, "And what are you going to do about it?" So I think Napa Valley was considering changing some policies after our visit there. But anyway, he was the guy that's bigger than life, and his heart was bigger than life. So like in one day, him and then Mark Krebs. And I'm like, dude, that's a lot in one day, So I messaged Lewis. I'm like, I'm not going to come in, man. I'm just going to, sit and be miserable. And then I go like, both Sergey and Mark would probably go like, "The fuck are you doing?" So if I'm a little silent, that's why. So usually I'm a little bit more outspoken and colorful, but, it's
I like how you you referenced how tiny these people's dicks were, but then you censored the F word. he's like, man,
Here and
how,
there.
how tiny is your dick? And then you said effed up after that.
Well, because I looked up from your face on the screen, and above that there is a sticky note that Lewis put there and says Christ is in our midst.
Yeah.
So I read
So you're
that.
like, I'm
like,
just
oh,
selective censorship. I'm like,
yes.
like Christ has a sense of humor.
It's yeah, but still.
Oh, if there's a guy there, I can't remember what the dude's name is. Have you ever seen the guy? He does like all the parts, but he puts different wigs on, and he does like if the apostles had a podcast. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Oh, it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Well, I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, he's like Peter and John and
Matthew and all that.
Yeah, and he's like he plays 4 characters and he just puts on different wigs, and Peter's, because there's the thing in John where he says that the disciple that Jesus loved ran faster and got to the tomb. Peter's like, really? Did you needed to put that in there? He's like, well, it was true. He's like, it was true. I got there before you did. He's, yeah, but did it need to be in the gospel? He's like, well, I figured if it happened, it needed to be there. And he's like,
that's like only one of them where they're like, yeah, and then Peter cut that guy's ear off.
Yeah, and then he says, yeah, and he's like, yeah, and it was ambiguous, because all the other ones just say, one of the disciples did, and he's like, and Peter did it, and he's like, what? Why did you call me out in your gospel? And he's like, what happened, didn't it? So I figured I was just telling the story, man. But yeah, the dude's hilarious. He's hilarious, and he does those. Yeah, he does one if he goes. It goes one if like if Moses had a podcast, and then there's if the apostles had a podcast, and then there's like one other one, and they're really funny. They're on Instagram.
That sounds promising, actually. Yeah.
Yes, it's actually one of the good things. One of the few positive things about the demonic plague that is the internet. But
yeah.
So when is How to Be a Shitty Student or Don't Be a Shitty Student, or whichever?
Very soon. I cannot make promises because I don't want to make promises that I cannot keep. I have not heard that yet from that company. I sent the thing out, but I haven't heard back from them yet. So as soon as I hear from them with some hard date, then I can announce it. But until I do, I won't, because that would be a promise I cannot keep.
That's right. That's right. It's like I'm shooting for August 1 for the new book called Super Lab.
What is your new book?
It's called Super Lab, applying the scientific method or application of the scientific method to firearms training.
I see.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. And Lewis started reading it.
Yeah.
Also, that's why he's on chapter 1 in my book, because he's reading 4 others.
To be fair, I'm on the first chapter of both of these books.
He just finished the introduction in mine.
Then again, considering it took him fucking 4 years to have 1 page of the website up, you know what I mean? I guess it's not a surprise.
Did it take
Quality
that long?
Takes time.
Right.
You want fast reading? Give it to Matt Pranka. You want quality reading?
That's right. That's right.
All right.
All right. Well, looks like we're at 2 hours right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm not going to tell you that I looked over at my board and we were 15 minutes in before I remembered to hit the record button. I'm not going to tell you that. That may or may not be true. But you've got your own recording.
Yeah. This will have recordings in it. So we got audio and video from both feeds.
As long as the gayest parts are up there, it's all good.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. It's all good. Like, everything is good. I don't know how many people were watching this live, but it's all good. And Josh, are you the YouTube master?
I guess technically.
Oh, he's not sure.
Master. I don't know. I mean, maybe C class.
Oh, you're not. You don't have your robe yet. You don't have your hood and your robe. We'll
No.
work on that.
Unfortunately.
But Lewis and I did a thing 2 weeks ago, and we did this thing. So if you want to use that, like chop it up and use sound bites and do, feel free. Like
Sounds good.
Don't feel like you need to like come out and ask me to do it. Just do it.
Even when you're using the trademarked words.
Yeah, I use the trademark use of force continuum. You know who that is, right? You know what's funny?
Of course, I know who it is.
That guy has been pretty radio. Is he still alive? Because he's been pretty radio silent here lately. The use of force continuum trademark guy. He was trademarking everything for a while there, though. He had like trademark way of walking, trademark like 3-point sling, trademark like.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
We're not giving them free plugs. We'll tell you after it's over with.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite things. It's like teaching people how to walk.
I teach people how to walk.
I teach people how to not fall down. I'm like, you should stand up and maintain your balance.
Yeah.
Sounds
simple when you say it like that.
It sounds simple. All right, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, thank you for being here. Remember, you're a beginner once,
a student for life.